I spend most of my life in the sea rather than in land. Our life depends on the reef. If we are not looking after our reef for a future generation, what's gonna happen is they only hear story, but actually they'll never see it.
So Fiji is an important country in the southwestern Pacific. Marine biodiversity is off the charts here, and it's significant in that way.
The health of coastal fisheries over the last 20, 30 years, I see has degraded very much.
So when we first started working in Fiji in 2001, there was already a nascent movement around establishing locally managed marine areas.
Conservation has been practiced in the Fijian tradition to conserve the ocean resources of our forefathers.
So in Fiji, all the coastal areas are divided up into ngolingolis or fishing areas.
Over the first 10 years of the strategy, the direction we took was to work with locally managed marine areas, which became incredibly successful in terms of getting NGOs to work with communities to establish these locally managed marine areas, to get behind them.
Locally managed marine areas basically is marrying traditional knowledge and sort of modern science management methods.
We have empowered community champions, community representatives to go out and get the solutions for those villages.
So there is science, we can do surveys, we can come up with data and results, but to be able to connect with our communities, we also should be able to listen to the experience, the traditional knowledge.
Non-governmental organizations have taken a lead role.
Going out into the communities and making them realize the importance of what is going on in the Ngolingoli areas.
The NGOs themselves didn't have the remit that the government had here in Fiji to work with communities to actively help manage and enforce some of their own traditional rights in their own managed areas. So there were limits to what could be accomplished at the time.
And that's when Packard said, look, we need to move beyond just looking at what communities are doing. We want to see what the government is doing as well to help those communities in the long run manage their fisheries.
Beginning to create some real regulation limiting catch, looking at size limits and getting behind some of those more fundamental science-based restrictions and requirements for fisheries management.
It's incredibly significant. The government has created an inshore fisheries division.
We're supporting partners who are providing technical assistance for the government of Fiji to manage its inshore fisheries.
Wildlife Conservation Society has been working with communities for more than a decade around the size limits for fish. We've recently been doing increased work around that with the Ministry of Fisheries.
To be able to just facilitate communities and the government to work together, to tie in the different laws that needed to be done to enable the communities to do proper or informed management.
Packard allows us to take this more holistic approach to fisheries management. You can't just work on community-based fisheries, you have to work on making sure there's good science behind some of the decisions. Are the laws that we have around fisheries management adequate? Seeing the ministry moved more towards co-management between themselves and local communities.
We need to have the conservation to be entrenched into the society. I want to make sure that the environment, especially the fishing ground, is maintained and it's sustainable for the future. That's all.
What drives me is to be able to tell my grandchildren that I've done my best to do what I can so that you can continue to enjoy this.